Hey guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. And in today's video I thought that I could do a review on Naruto, the whole series from the first book all the way to the 72nd book, and then that is going to go over 700 chapters of the manga. Now before we get into it, I would recommend that you tell me how you think that I can improve, because I am very new to this and I want to make the best content for people who watch the videos, and so that they, so you want to stay, and because content is a good way to like just disengage yourself from the world. And I think that everyone needs to watch some good content. So if you have any tips on how I can improve, how I can make it more enjoyable for everyone that's watching, then tell me in the comments, and it will mean so much to me. But anyway, with that said, subscribe if you want to. You don't have to, but it is free, and it does make me feel very happy if someone does subscribe. So I will just see you in the video. Naruto was a rival for One Piece, as they were both coming out at the same time, and they were the two biggest series at the time. While Naruto was bigger in the West, so like in England and America and that, One Piece was bigger in Japan and Asia. Naruto is the fourth highest selling manga series of all time, just behind One Piece, Dragon Ball and Goigo 13. I hadn't heard of Goigo 13 before I made the script, so if it's good and you've read it, tell me in the comments and I'll check it out if it's good. But anyway, this is going to be my review of Naruto, the boy who wants to be Hokage, and we will be following his journey for 700 chapters in 72 volumes. Now before we get into this is going to be the prologue arc bit up until the beginning of the Land of Waves arc. So that's the bit that I'm going to be reviewing. It's only a short part of the series. I think it's only like 3 or 4 chapters. But yeah, I thought we could just do that, and then in the next one I could do the Land of Waves, all of it, and then so on and so forth. So then we go over an arc each episode, depending on how long the arc is, because I know that the war arc is quite long, so I'm going to do that in multiple parts. But for the first one, I'm going to be doing it just in its separate arcs. Naruto is an 11-year-old boy who, when he was born, had a 9-tailed fox demon put inside of him. This act should have made him the hero of the village, you would think, because if it hadn't been put inside of him, the Leaf Village would have been destroyed by the 9-tails demon. The village didn't understand, and so Naruto is ostracized by the villagers and all of his peers because of their fear of what is contained within him. But Naruto doesn't know that he has the 9-tailed fox inside of him, so he doesn't understand why people won't even be his friend or talk to him, and this is so bad for a 12-year-old boy with no parent figure at home, and it causes him distress, and he doesn't even know why people are being like this. In the first chapter, we get to see how Naruto deals with his loneliness through being mischievous and pranking other people, his teachers, the whole villagers, and this just makes the villagers hate him even more than what they normally do, because one, he's got the demon inside of him, and then two, now he's just being mean to everyone and pranking everyone. The first time we see Naruto, he's graffitiing the past Hokage's faces. He does this so he can get attention, even though it is bad attention, but it's attention that he needs because he didn't get it from anywhere else, because he doesn't have his mum or his dad to give him attention. This is when we meet Iruka, the only person who could be classed as Naruto's parent figure. Iruka is Naruto's teacher, who seems to take the fall whenever Naruto pranks the villagers. We see this when he apologizes to the current Hokage of the Leaf Village on Naruto's behalf for what he's done to the Stone Faces. We then go to Naruto's school, where we get to see that Naruto isn't good at his studies. He's failed the test 2 years in a row. This is also where we get to see our first bit of ninjutsu, which is like the power system of Naruto. And we see this ninjutsu in the form of him transforming his whole body into Iruka. Naruto, being the troublemaker that he is, uses this jutsu that is very OP. We see it multiple times in the first few chapters that seem to knock out anyone, whatever rank they are. The move that he uses is called the sexy jutsu, where he basically just transforms into this naked woman, and then it just knocks anyone around them out. It also gives the person a nosebleed, and then I've seen this a lot in anime, and so I wanted to know why it gives them nosebleeds, because I thought it was a bit weird. Whenever I see it in anime, I thought, why does it give them a nosebleed? But the idea is basically that sexual arousal causes an increase in blood pressure, which in turn sets off a nosebleed. So if you didn't know that, you now have a new bit of information that I just told you. We then get to see a one-to-one interaction from Naruto to Iruka while he's cleaning the Stone Faces. This is when we find out Naruto has no one at home waiting for him. We see that Iruka is like a dad to him, as he offers Naruto ramen and talks to him about why he has done this. As he talks to Iruka, we find out about the goal of our main character Naruto, which is to one day become the Hokage of the Hidden Leaf Village, mainly because he wants respect from the villagers that hate him. The Hokage is generally regarded as the strongest shinobi in the village. In this chapter, we also get to see Naruto achieve one of his short-term goals, to get the Leaf Village's ninja headband so that he can become a certified ninja. To earn the headband, you have to pass the test, which is to create 3 identical clones of yourself, which Naruto fails horribly at. During Naruto's test, we meet a character called Mizuki, who is sat with Iruka judging Naruto's skills. Mizuki suggests to Iruka that Naruto should pass the test even though he only made 1 clone, and it was a horrible clone. It couldn't even stand, it was just lead on the floor. It gives you the impression that Mizuki feels sorry for Naruto, as it's his 3rd attempt to earn his ninja headband. Iruka obviously tells Mizuki that he can't become a ninja because he's just failed the test and he didn't even make one perfect clone. And Iruka just doesn't want Naruto to go through the easy way. He has confidence in Naruto's gift and that he can actually make 3 shadow clones of himself. Mizuki gives Naruto some advice on how to pass the exam. He tells him to steal a secret scroll. If Naruto masters the secret scroll's techniques, it will allow him to pass the exam. But it turns out that this scroll is very, very dangerous, as hidden in it are secrets which could destroy the whole Hidden Leaf village. Naruto steals the scroll by knocking out the Hokage, yes, the strongest person in the village. He knocks him out with his sexy jutsu, the most OP jutsu that I have seen any character use in the first chapter by the main character basically. It's just so overpowered, he can knock anyone out by using it. But it turns out Mizuki's earlier interaction with Naruto wasn't him being kind to Naruto, it's just that he wanted to steal the scroll for himself so he could destroy the Leaf village. We then go to Naruto deep in the forest, trying his hardest with the scroll and practicing really hard to perfect his ninjutsu to earn his headband from his sensei. Iruka then finds Naruto practicing. He sees how hard Naruto was training to try and master one of the techniques that were in the scroll. He has dirt all over his face, all over his clothes, and when he gets caught, he has a massive smile on his face because he knows that he just mastered one of the jutsus inside the scroll and that he thinks that he will be able to pass the exam because he's been able to master one of the jutsus. And that jutsu just so happens to be the technique that he couldn't do earlier, where he couldn't even make one of his clones. He can now make 1,000 perfect identical copies of himself, but not just a clone. It's actually him, and it can move and it can talk. When Mizuki appears, he tells Naruto that he's got the nine-tailed fox in him that killed Iruka's parents. Mizuki tells this to Naruto and says that Iruka actually hates him because of the nine-tailed fox being inside of him and that it killed his parents. This is when we get one of the best moments in this arc. Iruka protects Naruto against Mizuki with his life by putting his body in the way of this massive shuriken. He confesses to Naruto that he was just like him at his age when he was younger because he lost his parents. Iruka says that if he was a better teacher, things wouldn't have turned out like they have, and that he's sorry. He tells Naruto that he is not the nine-tailed demon fox that killed his parents, and that he does not hate Naruto for it, and that he only has deep respect for him having the nine-tailed fox sealed inside of him to save the village. This is when Naruto fully slaps Mizuki with the new move that he learned, his 1000 shadow clone jutsu. We find out that shadow clones aren't just clones that he can't make for the exam a couple pages prior, but they are clones that are flesh and blood. They're the next level from the normal clones. Since he can clone himself not only 3 times but 1000 times now, Iruka lets him pass the test and he can now be a ninja with his ninja headband on. Now, after reading that first chapter, I think that is one of the best first chapters that I have read in any manga or watched an episode of anime. I think it's very good. I think it gives a baseline to what the story is going to be about. We get to see the character and how he lives and how he handles everything, and I think it was a very, very good chapter. Now, in the second chapter, we don't get as much as we did in the first chapter, but we got to meet a new character by the name of Konohamaru, the grandson of the third Hokage. Konohamaru's goal is to also become the Hokage because he doesn't want to be in the shadow of his granddad, who is the actual Hokage. Personally, I don't think he will ever become the Hokage. If it's either before, I don't think he'll become one before Naruto, and I don't think he'll be it after Naruto. That's just my opinion. We'll have to see. I think that he'll go down his own path and then be able to become something that is out of the Hokage shadow and that people actually realize that he's good at. So maybe like, I don't know, a teacher, or maybe just like a helper of Naruto. Now, one thing that confuses me is that someone like Ebisu, who's basically Konohamaru's trainer, who seems quite high in rank, yeah, since he's training the Hokage's grandson, so obviously you got to be quite high in rank, doesn't like Naruto because he's got the nine-tailed fox inside of him. Now that just doesn't make any sense to me, because obviously he knows what the nine-tailed fox would have been doing back in the time, and then he'll know that basically Naruto's protecting the village by having it inside of him. Konohamaru and Naruto basically run off, and Naruto then becomes Konohamaru's friend, and then he teaches him how to do the sexy jutsu. It's quite funny when he's teaching him how to do sexy jutsu, just because whatever Naruto does, he gets told off for, and whatever Konohamaru does, Naruto gets told off for that too. And I just thought it was quite a funny engagement with them two. And Konohamaru is kind of reminding me of Kobe. He's going to be this like really weak character, and he's going to get stronger over time. We're not going to see that much of him. We're just going to see different points in time of him where he's basically gone from very weak, who can't do anything, to then very just getting together with stuff. And then by the end of the series, he's going to be quite strong. In chapter 3, we meet 3 new characters. We meet Sasuke, Uchiha, Sakura Haruno, and Kakashi Hatake, who will be their ninja squad for the series, I guess. Sasuke seems like he will probably be Naruto's rival to push him to get stronger. He also has a really cool character design. We find out that he wants to avenge his clan because someone killed all of them except from him. There could be someone else who's alive in the clan, but I'm not really sure. We haven't haven't been told anything, or we literally just been told that all of the clan died apart from him. So we're going to have to see, and it's going to be cool to see how Sasuke finally gets revenge for his clan. We also find out that he's completely indifferent and doesn't seem to like anything or anyone. He's a calm character, the complete opposite of Naruto, who is basically just all hype and just shouting at everything. Sakura is someone I really don't like at the moment because she just really annoys me. The way she just badmouths Naruto all the time, basically being mean to him and just being mean that he's an orphan, and she says that to another orphan that I just don't really understand. Why would you take the piss out of an orphan to another orphan? It just doesn't seem like a really good idea if you're going to do that, and I don't know why you'd do that in the first place. Her introduction was also just bland, like the rest of the squads were, because the introductions were just horrible. We find out that Sasuke doesn't like anyone, Naruto only likes ramen, and then Kakashi, his name's Kakashi, that's all we find out because he just doesn't want to tell us anything. The only bit of information that we get about Sakura is that she loves Sasuke. That's basically it. Now, Kakashi is a character that I really like. He's going to be their mentor, so he's the person in charge of their squad. He is also an elite shinobi who's very strong, as he'll be taking them out on missions and then he'll have to protect them with his life, obviously. He's also got a really cool character design. He's covering one of his eyes up and he wears a mask, and he's got really cool hair. He kind of reminds me of Gojo Satoru from Jujutsu Kaisen, but I wonder how strong he's going to be because Gojo Satoru is like one of the strongest characters in the series, or I think he is the strongest character in the series. Now, we have my favourite part in the first bit of the arc, the bell test. So basically you have Sasuke, Sakura and Naruto against Kakashi. So basically it's just testing out their strength, where Kakashi has 2 bells and Naruto, Sasuke and Sakura have got to each get a bell. But since there's only 2 bells, it's meant to stop them from working as a team, so then they go solo, and so they basically just have to work as a team, and then if they work as a team then they get to pass. He tells them that if one of them doesn't get a bell, then that person will then go back into the school and then have to redo the ninja stuff all over again to then come out the next year. This is when we get to see an elite shinobi in combat. Even though he was up against 3 kids, we do get to see how strong a shinobi can be. We also get to see the 3 shinobi battle skills. The first being taijutsu, hand-to-hand combat basically. Kakashi demonstrates this by absolutely destroying Naruto by reading a book and fighting Naruto at the same time without even looking at him, because he just thinks that Naruto doesn't pose a threat to him. The second shinobi skill is genjutsu. Genjutsu is where you use illusions in the opponent's mind and trick them, and basically they think something else is happening when they're just in a dream, basically. I think that's a really cool ability, and I don't think I've really seen that done in anything else, and I think that it can be so cool if it's done right. The last is ninjutsu, and this is completely different to the rest because we first get to see ninjutsu demonstrated by not the teacher Kakashi, who's going to be teaching everyone what each skill is. We actually see it demonstrated by Sasuke, just to show how far ahead he is compared to Sakura and Naruto. He's able to use a fireball jutsu, and even Kakashi says that it's too advanced for someone at his age and who's just become a ninja because of the chakra storage that he has isn't enough to be able to do it, apparently. Sasuke also shows how far ahead he is by giving Kakashi a good fight in hand-to-hand combat. And now this isn't the kind of hand-to-hand combat that he was doing against Naruto where he was reading a book at the same time. He was actually fighting him, and obviously not to his full extent because obviously he's not going to be trying to kill Sasuke because he's like 12 years old, but he was having to put up a fight against Sasuke, who is only 12 years old and he's only just become a ninja. Sasuke comes about a fingertip's length away from actually grabbing one of the bells before Kakashi has to throw him away, and so we get to see just how far ahead he is compared to the rest of the students that are there. And so basically it ends by Sasuke, Sakura and Naruto not using any teamwork, so they failed the test because all you got to do is just use teamwork, and they didn't understand that. Kakashi decides to let them all have another chance, but because Naruto cheated, he's not allowed to eat the food at lunch because they haven't eaten in 12 hours because Kakashi told them not to eat the night before. Naruto, because he cheated, he wasn't allowed to eat any of the food basically, so he'll be put at a disadvantage compared to Sasuke and Sakura, who will be full and be able to fight at their full strength. But because they are supposed to be working as a team, and Naruto will hinder the team if he's starving and he won't be able to fight as strong as he can, Sasuke and Sakura decide to share the food with Naruto. Kakashi asked them why they were feeding Naruto when Kakashi told them not to, and basically they just said that he'll hinder the team if he's hungry, and so they won't be able to work as a team properly. And then this makes Kakashi pass them because they were thinking about teamwork over failing the test. Now that's going to be it. I only read the first 3 chapters just because I thought it'd be a good introduction to the series. And then in the next episode, I'm going to be doing the Land of Waves arc, which goes from chapter 9 to 33 if you want to read along with me. I really like the art style of Masashi Kishimoto, and obviously, as I said, this is one of the best starting arcs that I've read. I haven't read this big stuff like Berserk or stuff like that, but from what I've read so far, Naruto has a very good starting arc, and I don't know why it gets all the hate that it does that I read online. That's why I've decided to do this, just because I see everyone hating on it and I wanted to give my opinion on it. But anyway, as I said earlier, we're going to be reading from chapter 9 to 33 in the next episode. If you want to read along with me, it'll mean a lot to me. Put down in the comments if you've read Naruto and tell me what you think of it without trying to put too many spoilers, because I'm trying to read this series and then get it out as fast as I can. So if you did enjoy, please subscribe to the channel, leave a like, it will mean a lot to me, and I will see you in the next video. I hope everyone has a good day, and peace.